Hi everybody, my name is Debbie Sprouse. How are you doing tonight? All right, so I'm here to go over the module on English Language Arts. So our course, the way we designed our course, since we had two maths and an English teacher, we did a course that was a blended course, or actually a collaboration between math and language arts. So while my two colleagues took care of the math components and we came up with a project for students to do in math, which is to design and create a light screen based on Frank Lloyd Wright's designs, I then am supporting that work with language arts. And so as a culminating activity in language arts, the students will write a research paper on Frank Lloyd Wright and his light screen, and they will also go through the steps that they took to create their project in their math class. So as a way of supporting the math and doing the English part, I created my module to kind of go through the steps that the students would take to get to that final project of writing that research paper. Okay, so I only included the first 3 weeks in here because we didn't have to, according to Professor Wiggins, do the entire course because there's just so many components to this. So what I did is I put some things so you could kind of see a variety of things that the students would do. So in the beginning of the course, the students we would go over grammar, and we would go over some grammar and writing rules for the students so that they could get some kind of a foundation before they have to get into, writing academic research papers. So in week 1, the students would do this activity right here. They would do a grammar rules and tips, and so what I created for them is a graphic organizer. So they'll click on this link, and when they do, they'll get a graphic organizer that they can use to take really good notes. They're going to complete the graphic organizer as they view this PowerPoint that I also created for them. Okay, so let's click on the link so you can get an idea of what they would be doing. So I created this graphic organizer for them, and they would go through, and I separated it into 3 parts so that they wouldn't be overwhelmed with the PowerPoint, so they can do part 1 and take their notes and then stop, and then another day they would do part 2 and so on. So part 1, you can see here that I kind of broke it down. These are the concepts I want you to know. I want you to know the definitions, and I want you to be able to give me some examples. I want you to know that there are 3 ways of combining sentences to start getting them to realize that commas don't solve the problems of the universe when it comes to writing. And then another thing, combining sentences and giving me examples of how you could combine using commas, semicolons, colons, and periods. And then in part 2, there's more punctuation. They're going to do a quick write on the light screen. They're going to do a summary of what they learned. They're going to do a reflection, and then they're going to do a summary on the PowerPoint. And of course, they have to write at least a minimum of 5 sentences. And then they would go on to part 3 of the essay where they're learning about, or part 3 of the PowerPoint, and here's where they're going to learn about the type of essay they're going to be writing, a little bit of show versus tell, doing some quick write responses, and then going through, and then they're going to be watching a video on clauses in week 2, and they're going to use the same graphic organizer to take those notes as well. So it keeps them nice and organized. Okay, so let's go back and I'll show you the PowerPoint that goes along with this lesson. Okay, so I created a grammar rules PowerPoint, and so it kind of goes through all the concepts that I want them to know. Here are the content, Common Core standards it's going to cover, and just all different kinds of things that they'll be learning about and taking notes on so that they have some background knowledge before we actually get into writing this in class. Okay, so let's go back to my module here. Back to assignments. Here we go. See if this is taking me back. All right, so I guess I go to the home page. I'm so sorry. Let's go to the home page, and we've gone through week 1's grammar, and then at the end of week 1, they'll take this grammar quiz that'll test their knowledge on, on the notes that they took. And then we go into, and also they have capitalization that they're going to go over as well. So there's they're going to do a discussion on capitalization and post a comment about something that they need to remember to do in their writing. So that's a way of getting the conversation started and the students being able to do a discussion board. And then we're going to go into week 2. In week 2, they actually start doing their research for their Frank Lloyd Wright project. So you'll see here that they're going to be doing some research, so I will click that for you. So again, I created, and here's Frank. Hi, Frank. And he has this really cool quote, so you might want to explore that on your own. So if you click the link, they're going to get another graphic organizer. I'm really big on graphic organizers because I really feel like it helps students take good notes. I don't know about you guys, but my high schoolers do not know how to take good notes without help. So I just use graphic organizers a lot. So they're going to create this graphic organizer, and then they're going to go through and choose 3 different articles that are listed on the graphic organizer, and they're going to use that to do some of their research. Students have a hard time evaluating credible websites, and so as a support to them, I've given them 5 credible articles that they could choose from. So they'll choose 3 of these, and then they'll use this graphic organizer to take their notes. So article, title, and link, interesting or important info, and why do you think this is important information? Okay, so they're going to do their reading part. So there's a reading component as well as a video component for their research. Okay, so there is that. And let's go back down again. This is probably making you dizzy, but I'm going back down here. So along with the reading portion of their research, they will continue to learn grammar and practice those grammar concepts. So they will, let's go, where is that? So they're going to do a quiz on clauses, but there's also some watch. So they'll watch a video on clauses, 7-minute video. Again, they're going to use that grammar rules component graphic organizer that I showed you earlier for them to continue to take their notes. So they would just click on this, and they would watch this really good video made by the Khan Academy on dependent and independent clauses. And I've watched it. It's great information, and it'll really help the students get a handle on what these ideas are. At least hope so. Okay. And then the last thing I will show you is the watch portion for the Frank Lloyd Wright research. Okay, so I'll click on here. So there again, they'll get another link and a graphic organizer so that they can take their really good notes. So I'll click on that for you. And this, I like to force the students to make copies of their graphic organizers onto their devices, because that way they can actually write in it instead of, having this thing that they can't write in. So here's another graphic organizer that I made, and this time they get to choose 2 videos to watch. So I've given them a choice of 4. They only have to watch 2, but of course, if they really want to, they can go through and watch all of them. And then again, taking their notes to compile so that they can ultimately do their research paper. Okay. Well, that is really what I wanted to share with you. I wanted to give you an overview of what my module includes and how it connects to what my math peers are doing. Okay, and ultimately that it will lead to this this research paper. Well, I hope you got a little information about my module, and I hope you enjoyed watching the video. I know I enjoyed sharing it with you and working with my peers to create this really amazing course, and I can't wait to see what you guys all came up with. All right, have a really good night. Debbie Sprouse, over and out.